Good morning and welcome back to day 2. Well, day 1.5. Yesterday you saw Lex had dropped off his RX8, and today we're about to get started on the transmission removal and replacement. And if it goes really well, hopefully it'll be back together today. So I plan on maybe breaking this up into 2 different videos depending on how long it takes, but I will be going over pretty much the start to finish on the whole disassembly and assembly process of this. I have never actually I don't think I've ever worked on one of these, so it'll be interesting. Transmission removal and stuff like that is all pretty basic among all car lines, but it's just orientation on how they put them together, little different setups. So hopefully it goes pretty well. As you can see, I got my car out of the garage, made plenty of space for me to kind of climb under here on this one, but look at this boy, really low. I got a bunch of friends with a bunch of low car problems. And yeah, so I guess now I'm gonna get started on that. I think my first order of business is to take the shifter trim out. This is a shifter, goes up into the cockpit area, so I'm gonna be fighting that first and foremost. So I'm gonna take that out, and then I'm gonna jack the car up and kind of assess what's going on underneath and make a game plan for what's going on. So I'm gonna get to that right now, and I'll keep you updated. Okay, as you can see now, I got the car up on jack stands, and I have been lubing up the input shaft here I'm gonna change this throwout bearing. Hopefully the one that's in there is in better shape, because it wobbles and makes noise and that type of stuff. So I'm gonna clean off the fork a little bit more. I lubed the input shaft and everything for it to go in, so it'll be nice and lubed up so it moves freely. And then I am going to get started on taking the transmission out. I don't know if you guys can see very well, but it seems like there's a lot of room under here for the transmission to move. I think my only obstacle is this weird brace. I've never seen a brace like this before, but the brace bolts here and here on the transmission and then follows back along the back of the car and actually bolts back there to the diff. I don't know if you can see those 2 big, I don't know, 17 or 19 millimeter nuts, but this one big long bar kind of braces everything together. So this will be the thing I need to take out. I'm going to take the exhaust out. There's the 3 bolts here, and then there's the coupler right there. And I think after I remove that, I can take off these 2 braces here, and I'll have a lot more room to move freely. Also, taking the starter out will make a whole bunch of room for me to get my hand up in there to take the bell housing bolts out. I also took apart the interior. It's really easy, actually. You kind of just pulled apart, unscrew the shift knob, and then there's these 3 bolts. Pretty much looks just like the one that's down there. I put the stuff right there. So see, same. So yeah, so now I'm gonna get started trying to take apart the under braces, take the starter off, and pretty much start getting more room so I'm able to assess a little bit better and see how easy it's gonna be for this thing to come out. So I am gonna get to that now. All right, I'm already sweating like a pig. It's getting pretty hot out here, but you can see I have the exhaust is off now. And let me just show you how much room that made. If you look and see now, I'll try and have it down as far as I can so you can see. There's no more exhaust there. I can get my hand up here, do whatever I need. And this long black crossbar, I already have the 2 bolts off, or the 4 bolts actually, off the back. So now I'm gonna be taking these ones off. And then I noticed that in here, there's like these ones that brace it to the frame here and here and here. I don't think I'm gonna have to do this. I can just move this out of the way some. But after that, I think maybe this whole black metal brace will come down. So I'm gonna put a jack underneath the transmission here, take these off, and then hopefully this thing will lower down and I'll be able to get to everywhere else that I need for the transmission. So I'm gonna do that now. I don't wanna get up from here. Tools are right there, and yeah, we'll see what happens. Okay, I had to come back out anyway because like a dumbass I forgot to drain the oil. So yeah, do that first. Okay, now I just want to show you guys that I have the drive shaft out and I have that bar, actually that bar cover that was attached here and here. It was just a cover, it wasn't the frame. And so then after I took that off, it exposed the drive shaft. And now I have those bolts off. I have the drive shaft out and I have this, I think these two are the last ones, and this whole black bar will lower. And then as you can see, I've started taking out some of the bolts. It's pretty easy to get around. See if I can give you like, my hand in here has about this much room. So I haven't done anything to lower it yet. So far so good. It's going pretty well. I've got a couple of the bell housing bolts out and I have to take off the rest. The only thing I'm concerned about is the slave cylinder is like way up here. If you can see that. I know it's kind of difficult, but it's got two 12s, and so I just need to get those 12s off, and then after I get the 12s off, then I can push that back, get the rest of the bell housing bolts off, and slide the transmission out. So I'm going to take care of that now, and hopefully this will be out in the next 10-15 minutes. Look at this. I got jack stands sticking out of orifices of all of the parts of this car. Okay, so if you follow the drag marks, you can see that I have both of the transmissions out now. They're pretty similar. This one I think he said that's going in the car is the first gen, if I remember correctly, and this is the one, the second gen that came with it. I'm not too sure, I don't remember, but this one's way more race car. He said that if you take this plate off, you can actually see everything on the inside. And what makes it even more race car is that if you take off the center console part over there, you can get to that plate without having to remove everything. So that's a pretty cool trick. But I have them out. I'm gonna have to swap over a couple things. This is in this position. If you look on this, it's on the left-hand side. On here, this is on the right-hand side. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to cap one of these, transfer this over, and kind of go from there. I don't really know where everything's supposed to be at, but nothing the internet can't fix. So I'm gonna transfer those stuff over. Also, his throwout bearing on this one is in way better condition. I'm gonna take this off and transfer it over there. And then I should be able to be throwing it back in the car and be able to get it buttoned up today. So I need to go get fluid. I think we're gonna run Redline oil in it, the 7590, but other than that, yeah, it's going pretty smooth. So yeah, let's get going. So it's a little bit later on in the day. I just got back from the store. I picked up some of this MTL Redline oil. And if you notice, there's only one transmission here. So I got the other one in. You can see I still kind of have it up here resting on a jack, but it's in. So I need to tighten the bolts down all the way and then get the subframe in, or the black frame. I don't know what they call that, but the one that goes from the transmission to the diff, put that in, and then it'll be there under its own power. I was thinking about the transmission, the plugs that I showed you that were on this side, not these ones, but the ones that were on this side. Turns out I wasn't able to use any of these. The thread pitch and the size is different than those holes, but Lex, along with the shifter that goes in the new one, it had two plugs that were to fit those holes that was missing. So little update on that. I didn't have to look on the internet and scour and figure out how to take these out and make those work and which goes where. So yeah, I plugged those holes up and then put the tranny in. So I'm gonna keep getting to work and hopefully finish this up pretty soon. Well, that's it. I probably look tore up from the floor up because I've been on the floor all damn day. But if you look and see, everything is all back together. And it looks real pretty too. Everything's all cleaned up, put back in, tightened down. So some of the bolts, I think from it sitting or Lex really beating on it, had been loose. So I made sure that everything is completely tight, torqued to spec. So we're done now. So I'm getting ready to put away this crap hole and then take it off the jack stands, and we're gonna get it going. We're gonna take it for a test drive. So everything here is all back together. So yep, it's fresh. We're ready to go. All right, so we're having a little technical difficulties right now. Transmission's in, everything seems to be working okay. I don't have any issues, if you guys can see. Shifting is third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Everything seems to be good. Even reverse is good. However, when I start the car, it doesn't want me to go in gear. So that's usually indicative of a bad clutch. It's possible that along with this jammy being bad, the clutch could also be bad. So stuff happens. It's not really that big of a deal. I got on the horn with Lex a little bit and let him know that, let him know what's going on. And so he's gonna try and get on the horn and find a clutch, and I might have to pull this thing back out. But no harm, no foul. We'll get it out, we'll get a new clutch in, and everything then should be good to go. We're trying to get it back to him so that way he can get it to his boys to get wrap done. And then he's got a project that he's working on. So we need this car done. So after I hear from him, I'll give you guys the update, let you know, but it might be calling quits for today. It was a lot of work, but now I think I can get this thing out a lot quicker, understanding how this thing comes apart and that. So yeah, I'm waiting on Lex. We'll see what happens.